Cage for hours. Please. Kiss me.
Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the ultimate Cage cast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also try to glean whatever kernels of wisdom we can from his character that week. My name is Linda Castro, but this week you can call me Cheese Be Bangin'.
And I'm Donnie, and I'm a spoopy ghost.
That's right, you're a spooky ghost, and I'm Marty Scorsese, a veteran director of many movies, and also this week you could also call me Adrian.
Yeah.
Today we're discussing the last Cage movie of the 90s, Martin Scorsese's Bringing Out the Dead.
Bring out your dead.
I feel happy.
Be nice to Fred.
3 is the number, and 3 shall you count.
Oh, God.
So, does anybody want to summarize?
Oh, man, I'm so
Not
fucking
it.
happy to be here. Okay, so this was a book. This was a book by an ambulance driver who took a novel writing workshop and wrote his one and only good book. He had another book, but people didn't buy that book.
Oh.
His name's Michael Connelly, and he is definitely not to be confused with the best-selling author Michael Connelly.
Oh.
Even though the one book that this movie was based on was good.
Eh?
So our hero, the Nicolas Cage, is Frank. He's a burnt-out New York ambulance driver who's really down because he hasn't saved anybody in a long time. And he drives around with people like Ving Rhames and John Goodman and Tom Sizemore.
Yeah.
And he keeps seeing ghosts of this homeless asthmatic lady that he couldn't save. Meanwhile, this guy that he kind of saved is at the hospital, and they keep resuscitating him, and he keeps trying to pull out the tube, and Cage is convinced he doesn't want to go on.
Just let him die.
Just let him fucking die!
I think the writer's
My
name
God.
was Joe Connolly. Like Joe Mama.
Joe Mama.
You're fucking mama.
I gotta break out the good stuff for this.
All right, this isn't my favorite Cage movie, but this might actually be the best Cage movie we've done so far. Like, at least in a long time. Since
I don't
this
know,
is one
I
of the most
liked 8
complete
millimeter.
ones. I like 8mm too, but on revisiting both films, I feel like this one endured much better.
It is a great movie,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah, it's very surrealistic.
And it had Paul Schrader
I was
the
gonna
screenwriter.
say, like, this. I think this is one of the great 1990s hallucinatory movies.
Yeah.
You know, like it's up there with like Natural Born Killers and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
It's everything
And-
Strange Days didn't be.
Yeah, Strange Days did not be strange, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah.
You know? So we've acknowledged. So this is good, and so of course, being good, it didn't make money
Yeah.
because audiences are a bunch of shit sucking morons. Hear that, listeners?
Yeah.
So, it was a box office bomb. The budget I've seen reported as high as $55 million. It brought in $16 million. It opened at number 4 behind The Best Man with Morris Chestnut, Double Jeopardy with Ashley Judd, its 5th week, Fight Club in its 2nd week also. But it beat out stuff like Random Hearts and 3 to Tango and Bats.
Well,
I don't
But,
even remember Bats.
Bats had Lou Diamond
Yeah.
Phillips.
Oh!
And it had some bats in it. The title was
right.
upside down on the poster.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, I never actually saw it, and that's fine because I got Bringing Out the Dead, so fuck you all.
it was your loss, man.
So Mrs. Nicolas Cage is in this movie as the daughter of the resuscitate heart attack dude, Ms. Patricia Arquette.
As Mary.
No, she's Mary. She's quite contrary. Yeah. This is actually a bright spot for her for that time because right before this, she was in one of the dumbest movies ever made. She was in Rupert Wainwright's Stigmata.
Oh,
with
God,
Gibson.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she followed this up with one of the dumbest movies ever made, Little Nicky. So good on you, Patricia, for getting this in the middle. Otherwise, we might have lost all hope for you.
Shout out to our friends over at the podcast Demi World because they just covered Stigmata. Well, kind of, sort of,
Why
because
do
they
you do this to me, Demi?
they went over the idea of
Help an old
Stigmata.
altar boy, father. I'm a Catholic. Okay, so Linda, you mentioned Mr. Schrader, who I sort of whined about a little bit last week. But Paul Schrader, he's a director also. He's way better as a writer. He did stuff like The Yakuza and Taxi Driver. He directed the underrated American Gigolo. And he also wrote another Scorsese masterpiece. He wrote The Last Temptation of Christ.
I used to do the Yakuza too.
I'll bet.
Wow.
Oh, you a sucker for them tats? Paul Schrader actually wanted Edward Norton to star in this.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Edward Norton's like, no, I'm busy being in a cult classic. You need to leave me alone right now. No, I'm supposed to have real vodka, goddammit! Fake!
Oh, Edward Norton.
Yeah. So I want to take a moment, even though I've taken a few of your moments. This movie's fucking beautiful. Like, this,
Definitely.
like I fucking love the look of this movie, like more than most of the ones that we've done, because this was shot by my favorite cinematographer. This movie was shot by fucking Robert Richardson, who is probably the greatest cinematographer living or working. I mean, like, the guy's fucking amazing. He worked a lot for Oliver Stone. He shot Platoon and JFK and Natural Born Killers. And for Scorsese, he shot Casino, and you could see that there's visually there's a lot in common between this and Casino, you know. And he did the Good Shepherd for Robert De Niro. And he shot some Tarantino movies, but they were Tarantino movies this century. And Tarantino's like, I don't like aesthetic. I think it's awful. No, let's not have any. No, it's stupid.
Because movies are supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Like, you're good aesthetic and like things like editing that would get in the way of my like racial slurs and like references and stuff. Like, you need to fuck off with that.
Do you have the fucking movie playing again?
Yes, he does.
Okay, you guys are hearing
Son
the
of a
laptop
bitch.
microphone. I'm recording into the Blue Snowball. The Blue Snowball can't hear this. You can hear this. This is a refresher for y'all. You just don't hate, appreciate.
It's just the voices telling me to let it die.
Mm-hmm. You know something? People who hear stuff always crazy. It's a scientific fact. I'll preach heaven and beat the hell out of you.
God,
Oh man. Everything Ving Rhames says. I'm so fucking glad we got round 3 with Ving Rhames here, and this is his best moment. You know?
It really was.
Yes.
He's got his hair slicked. He's smoking a cigar at all times. He's talking to Queen Latifah over the comm. It's like, I'm coming for you, baby.
Oh,
He has the
Marcus.
wonderful quote, I'm a true cocksman and I don't mix my seed.
Oh, that's right. You know, Gris is not the path to your salvation, by the way. Don't make me take off my sunglasses. Gris, by the way, the security guard at the ER, that's another Forrest Gump veteran. That was Forrest Gump's drill sergeant.
Oh.
God damn it, Gump, you're a genius. And Linda, earlier you mentioned I.B. Bangin', the guy that they revive at the club who'd OD'd on Red Death.
Mhm.
Guess who played I.B. Bangin'?
Was it your mom?
Yeah, it was your mom. No, it was Paul Simon's son.
No shit.
Yeah, that guy's Paul Simon's son.
Huh.
Holy crap.
Is his name Al?
Yeah.
It's Betty.
It's something. Who the fuck cares? I'm talking here. So we mentioned Marty Scorsese, directed many movies, Italian-American filmmaker. He got his start with a student film in 1967 starring Harvey Keitel called Who's That Knocking on My Door? A.K.A. I Call First. Then he got his real break when Roger Corman gave him Boxcar Bertha. He gave him a budget and said, make me an exploitation movie, and gave no further stipulation.
Wow.
And and he actually appears in that one as a John. And then Marty Scorsese did Mean Streets, you know, and he did really amazing work through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And then in 2002, he shot a turd called Gangs of New York. Then he sharded The Aviator, and then he vomited up The Departed. And
Come at us,
then Marty
Leo.
never recovered.
You know,
What a
Gangs
Martin
of New York
Scorsese
was
could do to a
wanting
woman's
to be
face, you should
okay.
see. Oh, it wanted to be okay. The trouble is, it's one of those movies that Marty had wanted to do for like 30 years.
Passion
Anytime a
project.
director gets to do the movie that they wanted to do for like 20, 30 years, it's always shit. That was the case with Michael Cimino in Heaven's Gate.
It's
No.
no Don Quixote.
That was Michael Mann had a similar thing. Fucking Heat. Like, a lot of people hold up Heat.
Oh,
It's like, oh, it's
God.
pretty good. Except it's like, it's kind of a misfire, really. And the whole thing about Heat is that he loved that idea about, like, this thief and, like, the cop chasing him and them sitting down, like, at a restaurant together. And that one scene where De Niro and Pacino are never in the same shot. because they hate each other.
Yeah, but then we don't get the joy of hearing Pacino talking about thick, juicy ass.
Well, the thing is, Michael Mann had been trying to get that made since like 1980, and in like '89 he made a TV pilot called L.A. Takedown, I think, and it was the same plot, and it was just like it was just ass. It's just like go back to your Miami Vice, you sack of shit.
You
Quit
people
trying to
will
do
love
other
me.
things.
Ooh,
But,
and I know you mentioned Queen Latifah. She's the only royalty I will bend the knee to.
Yeah.
Don't
that's,
you
that's right, everybody.
my
This is a
queen.
prequel to Last Holiday.
Oh.
Guest House. That was a movie too.
Or are you thinking of bringing down the house?
Remember when they put her in Sphere, but she doesn't have any lines?
Yeah.
She's just sort of hanging out in this other set, and she's like, "Am I in this movie? What's going on right now?"
I love her.
Any hoozle.
The
And she's
movie,
living
the movie
single.
should have ended where she got up from her chair, and then somebody's in the bathroom, and it's Dustin Hoffman taking a shower, and she's like, "What happened at Alien Sphere?" And Dustin Hoffman's like, "What Alien Sphere?"
Jesus Christ.
Then they both turn the
Da-da-da-da.
camera and shrug. All of a sudden, there was no monster.
Just like Deep Blue Sea ends with Samuel Jackson getting torn apart by a shark.
God, fuck Rennie Harlan for the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Come
triumphant return of John Goodman.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh no! I can't eat the same thing 2 days in a row.
I had the beef lo mein last night.
But he's been thinking about it since he woke.
That's right.
God,
He's
I
gonna
love
be
John
a
Goodman.
chief someday.
That's right.
He is. I believe in him.
He's the chief of our hearts.
Our calorie-ridden hearts.
And indeed. And our third and final ambulance partner for Cage is Tom Sizemore playing Tom Walls.
Yeah.
Tom
Major
Sizemore, very, very unfortunate young man. So his first film was Lock Up with Sylvester Stallone, and
That
he did
is
Point
unfortunate.
Break, and he did Blue Steel and Passenger 57, and of course Natural Born Killers.
Right.
And he also did an Albert Pyun movie with Steven Seagal called Ticker, where Dennis Hopper is in the film but did not act with any of the other actors.
By
Oh.
choice.
By the
what
other
kind
actor's
of cast
choice?
did you assemble? No, that's all right. I'll be in my trailer drinking. Just let me know when they leave.
Oh. Gotta love him too.
Yeah. So I really I like the bit where Cage's Frank takes the King of the Jungle Kuna Matata drug from Psy there, and he has the flashback to when he tried to save Rose, and the scene where they're in the snow and they're trying to tube Rose in the street.
You're hitting her
Or in the stomach.
They did it in reverse.
Yeah.
They did the entire thing in reverse. They drove backwards, walked backwards, acted backwards. That way, when they shoot it, the snow's falling up.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So it makes it all weird and hallucinatory.
Well, I feel like the whole thing is kind of weird and hallucinatory. Patricia Arquette's character, like her roots are showing in the beginning, and then like slowly they kind of go away. And I feel like
She's going in reverse too.
yeah, that's how I felt. Like she's going in reverse, and not only that, but like the blonde on top of her head kind of had like a halo effect, and everything kind of had a halo effect during this movie.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
yeah, and
it's-
she kind of
it's
drops
like,
her halo once reality sinks in that she's also doing drugs. But
Womp 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 womp.
but no, when you mentioned loving the scene with him in the room taking the Hakuna Matata drug, the only thing I loved out of that was when he goes full Cage and wakes up in a freak out, just screaming, walking around the place. Ah! Picks her up over his shoulder.
Talking to him, it's like, wait, Frank, you're having a paradoxical reaction. Okay, yeah, you go in there. Yeah, you go in there. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh no, Frank, you're making a mistake. Wait, you owe me $10.
It's the same as him driving the car and just tearing the shit out of the gears.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you okay? I'm fine.
What one of these voices saying? They're saying kill Marcus, okay? That ain't funny, Frank.
He is a treasure.
Oh my!
He is
Hey, another
precious.
fun fact about this movie, being from 1999, this is one of the last 2 movies ever to be released in the Laserdisc format, the 12-inch
Right.
full-on fucking Laserdisc format. The other one was Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
For those that
Yeah,
don't remember, Laserdisc was the size of LP records.
And
Adrian
if you don't
collects
know what
them.
an LP record is right now, go and throw yourself off a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
Right. They came back, so you really have no excuse. Just die. I don't like that Adrian when he talks. He's a gatekeeper. He doesn't respect my
You say
ignorances.
gatekeeper or gaykeeper? Because I think either title works really
Either.
well.
Yeah,
for you.
you could do both. Yeah, look, I'm just looking for my keymaster, everybody.
For those that don't know, that means bottom.
Ayo, you are correct, sir. Speaking about bottoms, so this soundtrack has the song "Combination of the Two" by Big Brother and the Holding Company, featuring Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this song was in 3 movies. Everybody remembers it was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And the first movie it was in 1969. It was in John Waters' Mondo Trash Show.
Huh.
Oh.
John Waters, wherever you are, we love you.
He's hitchhiking across America.
Hitchhiking into our hearts.
Yeah.
right. Directly clogging our hearts.
Hello, I'm Anthony,
And I'm Dr. Issues.
and we're hosts of Capes on the Couch, the podcast where comics get counseling.
Superheroes don't always get to go home happy. That's where we come in.
We offer psychiatric and mental health analysis of comic book characters.
So check us out at capesonthecouch.live and across all social media platforms at Capes on the Couch.
So, according to Cage, filming took about 6 months, and it was all at night. Well,
Jesus.
mostly at night. And
In freezing ass New York.
yeah, freezing ass New York. And he said that he didn't really have to act too much for this film because he was fucking exhausted because he was flying back and forth visiting his son Weston on the weekends and shooting this film. And he just put the exhaustion into his character.
Weston.
Yeah, it works to his strength there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Did you
he
say
also-
anything about Marc Anthony flipping his bloody dreadlocks on him?
Man just wanted some
Mark-
water.
Give me some water.
Man's got a drink.
Mark Anthony in this plays a fantastic psycho street person.
God, he
by the way,
does.
it's really good. And Tom Sizemore's character really hates him and tries to beat the shit from him several times. And Mark Anthony and Tom Sizemore did not get along IRL, so it's totally nothing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not even acting right now.
I just fucking hate you. I love Sizemore's line. He's such an asshole. I'm gonna give you the first lesson on how to be an American.
It's called
Eat My Shit.
Shit. It's amazing.
Oh my
so
God.
good.
No, it's no, and the book's very much like this. What with the narration and all that, and the hallucinatory quality, you know. And this is a great job movie, you know, a great workplace movie, you know. It's like you get all the different perspectives from the different drivers, the different attitudes at different times, you know, and like work just fucking sucks, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you believe in what you do, it will hurt you, you know, and if you don't, you know, you feel like you're wasting your time, you know.
And it gives you a really nice view to know that when you try to commit suicide or you're a junkie, that a nurse is going to just give you 0 fucks and tell you to go die.
That triage nurse is wonderful. She's in the book too. You
Yes.
get a ton of her, where she just gives shit to everybody except for Mr. O, the piece of crap
Yeah.
50-year-old drunk.
Which
in a
is even
wheelchair
funnier.
who
It's like
killed himself.
they offer food and a bath to a homeless man, and then the security's like, "Get the fuck out!"
I don't want him
Risking
stinking
not
up.
abide the funk tonight,
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. O.
Well, you know, I actually watched a video with like commentary by an actual EMT.
yeah.
And I looked up a lot of stuff about EMTs, and the burnout is
EMT.
unfortunately.
Oi.
Unfortunately, like the burnout is totally fucking real, and it's not unusual for an EMT to work 12 or 24-hour shifts.
Oh yeah, their shit's savage. Like all that medical shit's savage. But
Seriously,
and Connolly was also a technical advisor on the film. So like try to get accurate shit in there. Lots of lovely blood and vomit.
And he was in it. He was the catatonic patient.
He does have a cameo. Yeah.
Can we also give a shout out to the beautiful wood paneling inside one of the trucks?
Oh hell yeah!
That was some impressive mahogany.
Nice wood. Now for Donnie's new segment.
Yes, when we talk about rich Corinthian leather.
My hand, man. Take my hand, man. Cage puts the dying guy's hand in Marc Anthony's hand. He's like, here, hold this.
Like, you're not going to die, but I want to die. Not you, him.
Not him.
Well, and to
he's
prepare...
gonna kill you. Yeah, he's going to kill me at the hospital.
Apparently, Nic Cage went on a couple ride-alongs with EMTs, and he...
Yeah, Schrader and Marty did too. Yeah.
Was he as happy as he was in The Boy in Blue?
So Schrader did a ride along, and one of the first things he saw was a homeless man cut in half by a subway train.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to laugh.
Yeah, well, he's with God now. He has been for 20 years, so I'm just saying, if you get brutally killed yesterday, that shit's sad, man. You get brutally killed 20 years ago, you're a statistic.
Well, Nic Cage said that that there was a kid who got shot in the ass when he was in his ride-along, and he still had gum in his mouth. And when and Cage was afraid that he would choke on it, so he asked to take the gum from the kid, and the kid recognized him and was staring at him, probably thinking that he was hallucinating.
He said, "You walking with me, Jesus?"
I mean, wouldn't we probably imagine Cage?
I hope not.
Then Cage stole his French fry and said, "Nobody's going to believe you."
Yeah. I smell burnt toast, and I saw Nic Cage say everything's gonna be all right.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, he said that from his ride-alongs, he found that New York was a harsher place than the one Connolly wrote about in his book. But
yeah, well, kind of like Joe Bob said too, New York in the 80s versus 90s and such, a whole different world.
Yeah, if this had been done in 79 instead of 99, holy shit, so much more hookers and cocaine.
Let's go look at the hookers.
We got a body of live new girls. No, fuck that. We got another body over at Sex World.
The Kit Kat Club's about to let out. You can't even tell who's a hooker anymore.
I love that whole bit for Ving Rhames. He's all Jesus this, Jesus that. It's like, they leave the house with whatever they got on. Might as well be a skeleton under there.
Talking about the virtues of sex workers wearing more appropriate clothing.
You got the power. You got the might. You got the super light. Save, I be banging, Lord.
Oh my.
His name's Frederick. Frederick. I be banging.
He was
in the book. He was
man.
called something else, but it wasn't as cool. So
Yeah.
When he was talking about Cage, Scorsese apparently said, quote, "His eyes are extraordinary, and I see that he's also a bold actor. He isn't afraid to go out and go over the top in a sense, still within a truthful way, and keep it truthful, keep it real."
So that's why I went and cast Leonardo DiCaprio. Cage was so amazing. I mean, I'm just not equal to that. No.
Oh. But
we used to love you, Marty.
Yeah, we do. Come back, Marty.
Yeah, come back to us.
And I still love Leonardo DiCaprio. Fuck you guys.
Oh, fuck
you.
Leo. I wrestled a CGI bear. I ate a fish. Give me my award.
Hey, what's eating Gilbert Grape, motherfuckers?
That was him not even trying.
Wow. Lenny DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can. Merry Christmas, Tom Hanks.
That's okay, Leo. I'll carry you. Oh, thanks, Mr. Hanks.
I just love that thing you do.
Jesus Christ.
If you would volunteer, I think you'd find it's big.
We all love you, Tom Hanks. Please don't come for us.
Oh, none of these people is John Cusack. Fuck them all.
That's
Fuck
right.
them all, but
Even John Cusack would have been nice in this film.
Oh my god, yeah, no, that would have worked as hell.
Yeah,
That's
this would have been
funny
prime
because
material.
he was actually my face-off choice. Now I got to choose somebody else.
Oh fuck.
No.
Well, that's okay. We'll sit back when you do clothes off.
Yeah.
There kind of is some.
Oh yeah, actually, there's a naked dude played by Don Barry. Love the name. There's one scene with him in his dirty chonies and Nic Cage, and 2 shirtless Cage scenes, which made me wonder because it wasn't until the second viewing that I realized like they show his back full on, but the tattoo isn't there.
Makeup.
Yeah.
Makeup.
Yeah, I don't know if it was makeup or if he had it removed since then.
Eh.
Oh.
But,
I did miss it.
if he'd removed his tattaoo, I mean, you would be the one to tell us.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. He hasn't talked to me for a while.
He won't return my messages.
I only
Don't forget
see him
Mr.
in my
O's
dreams.
ass hanging out. We got Mr. O's ass hanging out.
Oh yeah, that's true. I missed that. But
You gotta love the suicide attempt in the tunnel.
yeah.
Until it turns
With the
green.
horse.
Green.
And there just happens to be like a white horse just hanging out in the tunnel.
Because
Why
why
not?
not?
Like, hey, how's it going? Like, Mr. Horse. No, sir, I didn't like it.
I believe
And
this
there's
movie was a
Howard
prequel to
Hesseman's
Irreversible still.
I fucking love Irreversible. I don't care who you are. Oh, so awesome.
Yeah.
I first heard about that movie in a very strange way.
In
Oddly
reverse?
enough. This is nothing. Yeah, this has nothing to do with Nicolas Cage or this movie or much of anything else. No, but in 2004, I was at Evergreen and I was waiting out front of A Dorm and I was going to meet my boyfriend at the time, and he never showed up. And I found out later he was a pussy and got hotboxed and was afraid to leave.
Wow.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
and I wound up meeting this other guy, and I'm like, hey, this guy's cute. Fuck it. I'm afraid. Wound up shaking hands for a really long time. Wound up going back to his dorm. He was straight. It wasn't like that. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I got to take my medication. I got to take it with food. And they're like, here, take this entire box of Cheez-Its. I'm like, I will. I was just hanging out in the living room with these 3 guys who I never saw again, and they started telling me about Irreversible. It's like, oh yeah, no, they beat the shit from this guy, and then there's this 5-minute rape scene. I'm like, oh, no kidding.
It's like, all right.
How about that?
This is just another Tuesday.
It's like, yeah, they beat his whole face right off of him. I'm like, oh, no way. Let me write this down.
2004. So that was the time of the Linda, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, it was just a few days before that you and I first met in that classroom, and there was the piano in there.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, a piano. I'm like, oh man, I wish I could play the piano. I'd be playing November Rain right now.
But there were no fish to sacrifice for.
No, that's true. Oh yeah, this movie's got this great part where they go back into into Sai's apartment after the shooting has happened and the lady's dead on the floor and the fish tank's been destroyed.
Yep.
So there's the fish flopping on the floor and Red Wine by UB40's playing in the background.
Very nicely done.
Lots of great fucking soundtrack shit in this thing. Scorsese used to be so good with soundtracks. You got in titles with the Van Morrison. You got all this punk shit on the soundtrack. Like what? Just like at random, and it's all like it's just like blaring on the radio. There's nothing like forced on you. It's not like that pretentious shit in the movie Flight where they're having it fade in and out.
Yeah.
Like it's a very natural feeling movie. It's a very complete feeling movie, and I really enjoyed returning to this. A lot of the movies that we've done, like the repeat viewings, has really worn on me.
Mm.
You know, like Moonstruck about the 4th time in. I'm like, I think I've lived long enough. I think I should die.
Yeah, seeing that once was enough.
But not with this one. Yes. Because there are movies, and it's rare. It's rare for this balance to take place. But there are movies that whenever they'll come on, I'll just watch them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll have no compunction about repeat viewings or whatever the shit. You know, like it's a very random assortment of things that makes that work for me. Like Lethal Weapon, the first Lethal Weapon is one for me.
Shit.
The first Dirty Harry, First Blood, very much First Blood for me.
Yeah. It's like between that and Bound by Honor, Blood In, Blood Out. That's one I can watch no matter where the hell it is. I'll just sit down. It's like, all right, this is now my night.
Yeah.
Oh, that fucking movie! You made me watch that so many times.
Yeah, well, I also made you watch Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you're welcome.
I guess it balances out.
Bless my soul.
This movie needed Meatloaf. He would have been a wonderful paramedic.
Well, are we at Face Off? Because
I don't mind.
I don't mind.
Because that actually kind of gets into mine. I actually thought.
God bless your heart.
I had a theme for Larry, John Goodman's character. I thought Meatloaf. For Frank, I thought Alice Cooper.
Nice.
I went very musical. For Mary, I was thinking probably Lita Ford. For Tom, Johnny Rotten.
Jesus Christ.
And for Marcus, Adam Ant.
Yes,
that works.
Yes.
So I think it's like, there's a lot of room for that sort of like punk rock theme here.
I like it.
Hell
that
yeah.
works. Linda.
Well, I of course had John Cusack, but I'm changing it to. I mean, yeah, I really want Edward Norton in there because I think that he would have fit really well. But I'm gonna have to go with Daniel Stern as Frank and Marissa Tomei as Mary.
Wow.
But
if you cast Daniel Stern, you almost have to have John Hurd in there and then Tim Grice. And John Goodman's still there. Yeah, and except instead of Red Death, they're really dealing with this homeless population under the city. Who toxic waste is sort of turning into zombies. If you will, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
What up, my chuds?
It just kind of goes that way.
Jesus Christ.
But actually, I'm expecting in the mail either today or tomorrow. I'm expecting Galaxy of Terror, so that might change my ideas.
I love that movie.
Did you get the 4K? Because that is freaking amazing.
I don't think so. I mean, it's through Netflix, so.
I think we already mentioned last week that he lived and died by the crystals.
I know, we missed our chance.
R.I.P.
And I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I've been while we've been recording, I've been sipping on my medicinal wine. So
Well,
I'm having a great episode. I don't know about y'all.
I don't know. I took some notes here from John Carpenter's The Thing, and I've been drinking J&B Scotch because it was needed.
Well, don't forget to have your well-done New York strip steak with that.
Okay, so strap in.
God, or you could have gin and orange juice. Like,
I was doing that.
I would, fuck it, I'd drink that.
Hell yeah, thank you. In a Dixie cup, no less.
You're goddamn right.
I can't do gin unless it's in a proper martini.
Not even a really nice juniper gin?
Yeah.
No.
There's some very nice organic ones out there.
I'm actually really excited to try Empress Gin. It changes color.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Donnie. You have a face off.
Okay, so in the role of Mary, we're gonna have Zelda Rubinstein. As Marcus, we're gonna have Tony Cox. And as the narrator, this is important because I'm going to have this directed by David Lynch. The narrator is going to be in person Michael J. Anderson. And as the dispatch voice, we're going to have Harv Velasquez. Now, if you don't know, he's in Paradise Island. He was always the one that goes, the plane.
The man with the golden gun. Yeah.
Yes. As Tom Wells, we're going to have Jack Purvis. As Larry, we're going to have Billy Barty. And in the
Yes!
part of France Pierce, we're going to have Eric Idle. And as the wonderful girl, we're going to have Lena Quigley, or if she was available at the time, Cher. Because that would have made an amazing little version of this film.
No,
Except for
that
Cher.
makes total sense because of one of the movies that Patricia Arquette went on to do.
Oh.
Little movie called Tiptoe.
Yes.
You know, shout out, I gotta give both of you credit because I still have somewhere on DVD from your scavenging days, Ankle Biters. And I still have the theme song from that stuck in my head to this day.
Oh, good times.
Oh,
See what good we do in the world?
I tested out one of my VCRs with my very own unriffed copy of Hobgoblins.
Fuck, I love that movie.
So,
I've seen one of that guy's other movies, by the way. Oh my god.
in your casting, who was Tony Cox playing?
Marcus.
I do love me some Cox.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Cock sausage.
And that's your first lesson in how to be an American.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
This is
and
the
we
worst
should
suicide attempt I've ever seen.
we should say, while I'm still kind of, sort of, somewhat, tiny bit sober, that Martin Scorsese played the voice of the dispatcher.
Yes.
He was
Who
Dispatcher
wasn't
Love?
gonna
No way.
Yeah. Queen Martin Scorsese. But he said that he wanted to make this movie because he grew up with the homeless and the alcoholics, and he found that, like, he felt that they were on the streets waiting to die. And he said that, quote, there was a conflict in me, and probably still is, as to how one feels compassion towards a person like that, but is also repelled by it.
I just want to go around stabbing the homeless people.
On the one hand, they're human. On the other hand, they smell.
Jesus Christ.
They just want to die.
In the book, it actually describes Mr. O's daily circuit, because he would do a thing where he would slowly limp his way down one street and then pass out and then get back to the hospital and just sort of do it all over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
You know the great thing about killing homeless people, you don't have to lead them so much.
Oh yeah, Patrick Bateman opening his suitcase. You know you reek of shit.
Jesus Christ.
This is a good
movie.
time to go to the movies.
You know, like, in the movie, like, he keeps begging his boss to fire him.
Yeah, Howard Hessman, yeah.
And he says, I'll fire you tomorrow. Like, I promise.
Well,
I'll
I told them
fire
where to
you
go. I never fired anybody.
Yeah, and that's how he became the Dread Pirate.
And then he barks like a dog. But,
I could bark too, you know. I never said I barked at you.
but why do you guys feel like he didn't just fucking quit? He kept begging to be fired.
Because
I
he's a
ask
pussy.
myself that question every day. You know, when
Well, for you, it's because you want unemployment.
this is real. No, this is actually because of my personal employment situation. This movie was very relatable.
Oh.
Right now, because I'm at this stupid fucking job that I not only do I not believe in, I have never believed in. You know, like it was a job, and like yet I work with people who, like, some of Cage's partners like take it seriously. You know, like they actually get emotionally invested in it. And you know, these are ambulance drivers. You know, like they're saving lives. The shit we're doing is far removed from that, but. But it's kind of like you look across the room at somebody. It's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? They're like, I feel so bad for her. She's crying. It's like, because she's a wuss.
That is why you don't bring quinoa salad to the party, Sarah.
But no, I literally, actually, a couple hours ago, I was on the phone with my boss scheduling a vacation, and she's all like, "So I heard you're looking for other work," and I'm like, "I am." She was actually, I was actually begged to stay.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, believe it or not, you know.
Did she start barking?
She did not stop.
I beg you to stay. I beg to differ.
I'll fire you tomorrow.
I never saved anybody's life though. I'm just the only one who doesn't call out.
Will you bring us life?
Self-destruction, everybody.
You wake me up inside.
You bid my blood to run.
I love the bit where he's driving in the back of the ambulance with Patricia Arquette and it's super awkward and the pop song's playing and they're just sort of not speaking.
Man, you got it
Speaking
bad.
of which,
It's true. God help us all. He's hungry.
I love how REM's "What's Your Frequency, Kenneth" is playing loudly while Tom's kicking Noel's ass.
It's a great fucking soundtrack.
It's just so upbeat and like, yeah, nice. Oh no, Marc Anthony.
I'm glad we got our full dose of Ving Rhames for once though. Like he's just barely there in fucking Kiss of Death. Just kind of walks on, with Stuffed Bunny and all,
Well,
and then he's lost in this ensemble in fucking Con Air. A means to an end, my white friend.
Yeah. We also should bring in the scene that I still love, which we haven't mentioned yet, is when Nic Cage is leaving work and Tom Wells is just beating the piss out of the ambulance.
Shit out of the ambulance. Yeah, I fucking love that. Yeah.
Well, he says earlier something like,
I have tried to kill him and he will not die.
Yes. And there he is killing him. Like, die!
Tom Sizemore, he was always such a great unhinged movie psycho, and then IRL he started getting into meth.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, like, you've been in major motion pictures, don't do meth. For the love of God, do some heroin or some coke.
The only one I haven't beat yet is myself.
Yet no one could defeat Tom Sizemore, so Tom Sizemore defeated Tom Sizemore.
That's right.
Come for us, Tom Sizemore.
No! You don't want a Sizemore on meth coming after us?
Just tell him you're holding. He'll show up.
We can have an intervention for him.
I always loved him, though. It's sad.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. I'm not going to watch the amateur porns he made.
Wait, there is such a thing?
I've said too much already.
Oh no, you've said too much. Or have you said enough?
Haven't said it.
I've got like this need to see celebrities nudie, so I think I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to quest for the porn.
Really not a fan of REM.
So is that gonna lead us into your close off segment talking about porn?
Well, I already did. I just didn't properly do the okay. I want his clothes.
It's already over with.
I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burned to the ground.
Oh, damn it.
Somebody needs to do the video cast so we can do Hoffa.
That's right.
Oh, hell
God
yeah.
damn it.
All right.
And Death to Smoochie, because
And Twins.
Another thoroughly underrated one. Twins, less so.
Yeah. Boy.
And My Nightmares.
I think you're gonna like it.
Now see, if we were dying, I would feel so much more comfortable if Ving Rhames was there to greet you when you die. Like, everything gonna be all right.
First step is love, but next is mercy.
Are you a true coxman?
Oh God! Don't ask this. I've seen enough porn to know where this goes.
Oh my!
That's right up there with that line from Network. It's like, I didn't mean to imbue your coxmanship. By the way, another thing. This is another one of those movies that you'd have to work hard to get a TV edit of, just because of all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Because in every scene in the ER, somebody's yelling "fuck" at each other. The part where Noel tries to lie down in the street, it's like, "Fucking asshole, you white cocksucker! I'm his motherfucking mother. I have rights." It's like, it is delightful. Just
Yeah.
Man, this is
Well,
my
really
recipe
delightful.
right here.
You
If
say
wanna know
that,
what
but they
makes me
did
happy.
make a televised version of Casino somehow. So
It was 6 minutes long. Oh, this is a nice pen. The end.
it was just long enough to hear fucking Eric Clapton. That was it.
Oh yeah, you gotta get the fucking gotta keep it real compared to what? God damn it!
You know, just this whole movie could have literally been just a Gonzo trip, and I would have believed it, and had the Rolling Stones for the entire soundtrack, and it would have worked.
Well, I still feel like it could have been like one big hallucination or a dream.
There actually is a score under there, by the way, by Elmer Bernstein.
Huh.
You just don't hear much of it.
Albert
It's over the end
Bernstein.
credits. Yeah. Elmer Bernstein got around quite a bit. He did the Magnificent Seven and Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And, the Silencers. Yeah, he got around.
I did the Ghostbusters too.
The good Ghostbusters.
Were they the real Ghostbusters?
I was the ghost that went down on him.
That's a big
Let me have a little more of my wine, my Linda juice.
I blew a guy.
Why is everything always cardiac arrest? Whatever happened to chest pain or difficulty breathing?
Fractured hands.
Oh shit.
Well, you know,
So that's my plug.
I've answered when I was at the call center. I answered for medical lines, and after a while, it'd be kind of like, "Come on, where's my blood, motherfucker?" Sadly, a lot of it was it's like, "Oh, she was at her nana's house and she feels sleepy. We think she has a fever," or "I think I might be having a heart attack. It feels just like my last one, but I'd like to talk to my doctor before getting an ambulance or anything." It's like, "Oh yeah, you sure about that? All right." Dead guy on line one.
But then I think like you have like the opposite of that. You have the frequent flyers that like get the ambulance for everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like their taxi. Yeah, the world's most
Yeah.
expensive taxi.
Well, and that's what they were saying in one of these sites that like they're basically a taxi service.
Yeah,
Pretty much, sadly.
And unfortunately, they also serve as like a crisis clinic counselor,
Ooh.
which I've been there, and it's sad because I think like the most frequent people are the people who've just exhausted their friends and family and like have nowhere else to go.
Then maybe they should get more comprehensive plan.
I'm just gonna wait around and die.
Mazel tov.
On my overnight shifts, when I was a crisis clinic counselor, my overnight shifts, Donnie got me like DVDs to watch of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you need something like that though. If you got a job like that, especially like a night job, you know.
Well, yeah, that's
like
what I
the
used to do at the
center.
call center when I worked for Verizon. I had a portable DVD player and a stack
Yeah.
of horror movies, and that was my night.
Like, you know, it's not like it's not
A
work,
stack
but
of
there's
porn.
downtime and you need
Yes,
shit to stay
I
sane.
had a stack of Golden Age porn that I would watch nightly. It's like, why are you calling to pay your bills? I'm trying to wank off here.
Is that grunting I hear in the background?
It's like, no, you dumb bitch, it's moaning.
See, at my job, we don't even need to put the porn on because I got my loud ass coworkers. So then they're on swing shift. So somebody be calling in, you know, they think somebody's in the house with them, and they'll hear in the background like, "Oh, it's fireball! Oh, that's bomb! Oh, I throw so much, I will hungover! Oh God!"
Linda, tell them where they can find us.
Where can they find us?
In your house, in the shadows.
God
But
damn,
also,
you're not spitting hot fire.
Please do us a favor. If you like us or if you hate us, please tell your friends to listen in because we can use all the help we can get. Please subscribe to us and rate and review Cage's Kiss because once again we can use all the help we can. If you have any enemies and you hate our show, then recommend our show to them. Like, it's a win-win. Come on, guys.
If you're
But,
ordering at Burger King with a really, really disinterested person at the cash register, just chat them up about this to waste more of their time. It'll be funny.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just-
Call a crisis counselor and tell them all about us.
Yeah, send us an email with all your hate and concerns to www.idon'tgiveafuck.com.
The
or
boy who
just
blew.
start raving about us on a street corner, but be sure to urinate on yourself first.
Yes.
So that way people will listen. We're on almost all of the platforms. And remember, you can find us on Facebook and on Twitter at Cage's Kiss. You can visit our website at cageskiss.com. And you can always write to us at cageskiss@gmail.com. Donnie, you got anything?
Yeah, I actually have a question for everyone. Maybe on next week's episode we can try and get answered. How many judges could Judge Judy judge if Judge Judy judges? Otherwise, I'm still the porn expert and the boy who blew over on RedTube and on Real Goals on Twitter.
A pornateur.
Yes, I'm that kind of man. I have a Starbucks in my hand, a scarf, and a knitted cap, and I adjust my glasses to talk about porn.
No, not like this. Something more cinematic.
Adrian?
You can see some of my Cage art on fucking DeviantArt on Leo the Fox and DeviantArt.com. You can see that shit in high definition, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh,
Goddamn
and we're
shit
on
ass.
Instagram now, and we at Cage's Kiss once again, and we feature a
mom's
lot
on
of
it.
his.
You had
amazing
your
art.
turn.
I am talking about Adrian's art, bitch.
Just
Stop
come
being
around
such
and
a
frame
cunt,
my
cunt.
shit. Don't ask any questions.
That's right. And why has nobody asked if your dirt needs a squirt?
And I'm still on YouTube as A.A. Smith, so get your ass over there.
Yeah.
You're the treasure of this podcast.
I'm priceless.
The living end. And before I have any more of my go-go juice, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Coffin Cast and Capes on the Couch, both quality podcasts. So when you're done listening to us, dial into them. They're pretty fucking good.
And rub one out.
And rub one out.
Yeah,
Wait a
treat
minute.
yourself.
No. Just rub one out when you listen to us.
It's between you and God.
We won't judge.
Oh, and with that, we'll be seeing you next week with Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's what she said.
And yet the movie's like 2 hours. There's no fucking
Oh, shit, you guys. You guys, we haven't shared any wisdom.
Yeah,
you
the
find any
wisdom is
wisdom?
get your fucking mealy, ragey ass off your goddamn couch, you fucking binge watching hookers, and watch
Yeah.
goddamn Bringing Out the Dead. What the fuck are you waiting for? You fucking, I'm waiting for the Avatar sequels. It's like, no, you're not. Watch Bringing Out the Dead. Just do it now.
For those that didn't know, Adrian used to also be the guy that talked about the ITT Technical Institute during the Jerry Springer show, who would ask you, why aren't you calling already?
What are you waiting for?
I
You
said call now.
cocksuckers! Get yourself an education!
And again, I blew a guy.
The first step is love.
No wisdom this week, fuck it.
That'll do.
Cage, 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 Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please.